Hello everyone, welcome to lecture number 3 for elements of group 13, 14 and 15. So starting with that, if you all remember, when we talk about properties for group 13, 14, 15 elements, we have already studied the physical properties, because when I say properties, we have studied the physical properties of group 13, 14, 15 elements, that is atomic radius, ionic radius. Then along with that, we studied ionization, electronegativity and all. And we saw there were many exceptions with respect to group 13, lesser with group 14 and none with group 15. So over here, today what we are going to start with now is the chemical properties. So starting with the chemical properties of group 13 elements, we are going to see the reaction of group 13 elements, 14 and 15, reaction with oxygen, with water and with halogens. So starting with first group 13 over here. So you can see when we talk about group 13 elements, first reaction that we are going to study is action of air. When I say action of air, you know, air contains two main components. One is oxygen and the other one is nitrogen. So first we are going to react group 13 elements with oxygen. Before reacting with oxygen, you need to remember group 13 elements, they have an oxidation state of +1 and +3. But when I say group 13 elements, the very common elements of group 13 are boron and aluminium. The other elements are less abundant in nature and we therefore don't study their properties in detail. But if I talk about group 13 elements, boron and aluminium, they show a common oxidation state, or I can say they are more stable in +3 oxidation state. Therefore, we are going to consider +3 as their oxidation state. So E plus O2, you know, E will have a charge of +3 and oxygen has a charge of -2. So if you cross multiply, the formula becomes E2O3. That is your exact formula for oxides. So E plus O2 gives you E2O3. We can balance the reaction by putting 2E, and so you can see it becomes 3 oxygen. Oxygen molecules are balanced and therefore left में 4 oxygen, 4E. E means any element of group 13, 14, 15. Next, if we talk about E2O3, you can see when I said E represents the elements of group 13, can be boron, aluminium and all. Boron and aluminium are not reactive in their crystalline form. मतलब crystalline boron, crystalline aluminium होगा तो वो react नहीं करेगा. तो react कब करेगा? They are going to react when they are in the amorphous form. Amorphous boron and amorphous aluminium react with oxygen. And we say down the group, the reactivity of the boron family increases with oxygen, means they can easily react with oxygen and form oxides. Next, if I say the next component of air is nitrogen, we can write on E plus N2. You know, E has a charge of +3. Nitrogen also has a charge of -3. So E, when you cross multiply, you will get is E3N3 and it can be simplified as En. So if you balance the reaction, you have two nitrogen molecules. I'll put 2 at the right and element also becomes 2 over here. Now, when I say E, E can be any element of group 13. We normally say E is going to be boron. So if boron reacts with nitrogen, what are we going to get? See, B plus N2, if I write down, I'm going to get is boron nitride. If I try to balance the reaction, you get 2Bn. When I say boron nitride, we call it as inorganic graphite. Boron nitride is called as inorganic graphite. Why do we call it as inorganic graphite? Because graphite, the structure of graphite is what? It is hexagonal planar layered structure. When I say hexagonal planar layered structure, if you all remember, in that hexagonal planar layered structure, graphite is made up of carbon, carbon, carbon atoms. And therefore, we call it as organic structure. Whereas in case of boron nitride, if I talk about the structure, it will be only boron and nitrogen. And boron and nitrogen, they are not containing organic. Therefore, they are referred as inorganic graphite. You can look at the structure of inorganic graphite. If I try to draw it, it will be somewhat like this. Boron. So here I'll have nitrogen. Here I'll have nitrogen, then boron, boron, again nitrogen. So you can see the valence is not satisfied. So you can put a double bond over here, डबल बॉन्ड हियर एंड डबल बॉन्ड हियर. ये एक हेक्सागन है. तो ऐसे ही अगर मॉलिक्यूल्स बॉन्ड बनाते जाएंगे इन दिस वे, दे आर गोइंग टू फॉर्म बॉन्ड्स. यू कैन सी N, B, N, N, and in that way if you balance it, these bonds need to be removed. In this way you'll have a bond, and this way the structure goes on increasing. So okay, this has been something wrong. Here you'll have N and here you'll have P. So for boron, you can see the valency is satisfied, nitrogen is satisfied. In this way, they are going to shift their alternate bonds, double and triple, single and double bonds. And this way, the structure goes on increasing. So you can see what you get is a hexagon. You're getting is hexagonal planar layered structure again. So the structure of boron nitride resembles what? A planar layered structure, and therefore we call it as what? Inorganic graphite. Very important, inorganic graphite is very hard in nature, and also it has a very high melting point. The melting point ranges from around 2000 to 3000 degrees Celsius. So you can write down this as the chemical properties. First put the heading as chemical properties, then you can write down group 13. First we have done is action of air, and this is what you can see. So if I talk about boron nitride, we call it as inorganic graphite, and it is hexagonal planar layer structure. Moving with the oxides only, you can see over here, as I said, amorphous boron and aluminium will react. If I say B2O3, when you react it with water, you can see it is giving us orthoboric acid. Means this oxide, when you add it to water, the solution becomes acidic in nature. Because the solution is becoming acidic in nature, we can say that B2O3 is an acidic oxide. Similarly, if you move ahead, you can see if I talk about aluminium and gallium, they form amphoteric oxides, whereas the last one, indium and thallium, they are going to form basic oxide because they are mostly having metallic character. So you can write down B2O3 is going to be acidic in nature, aluminium and gallium, they are going to be amphoteric, indium and thallium oxides are going to be basic in nature. So this is with respect to reaction or action of air. Moving ahead to the next chemical property, that is action of water. Now, when I say reaction with water, metals, when they react with water, they normally displace hydrogen and hydrogen gas is released. So same aluminium when reacts with water, it gives you aluminium hydroxide and hydrogen gas is released. But very important, aluminium does not react directly with water. It reacts with hot boiling water. And similarly, if we talk about the first element, boron does not react with water. So from the whole group, you need to remember only aluminium is the element that reacts with water, and aluminium will decompose the water by evolving hydrogen gas. So if I revise it again, the first element that we have is boron. We say boron does not react with water. Aluminium reacts with hot boiling water. Gallium and indium, it will not react even with hot boiling water, pure water or cold water. It is not going to show you any reaction. Thallium, we say it is slightly reactive than gallium and indium, so it can form a film, or I can say a surface of oxide on its surface, but it will not displace hydrogen, neither will it form hydroxide. It will just form a layer of oxide on its surface. That is with respect to thallium. So you can write down this: boron will not show reaction with water, aluminium reacts with boiling water, gallium and indium will not react with any kind of water, thallium forms an oxide on its surface, and aluminium with water, Al plus H2O gives you AlOH thrice plus H2. Moving to the third, that is action of halogens. Now you know halogens are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and they have a valency of -1. So E plus X2. E has a charge of +3, X has a charge of -1. So you get the formula as EX3 or MX3, where X can be fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and E or M can be your group 13 elements. And you can see when we talk about these trihalides, we have studied in yesterday's lecture that these trihalides, they are going to act as Lewis acid, क्योंकि वो 3 इलेक्ट्रॉन शेयर कर रहे हैं. 3 इलेक्ट्रॉन शेयर करने के बाद they become 6 electrons. Means octet complete नहीं है, तो octet complete करने के लिए they will have or they'll want 2 more electrons. So they have tendency to accept an electron pair, and therefore they behave as Lewis acid. So you can write down the action of halogens. Moving ahead, uh, if we talk about group 14 elements, the chemical properties of group 14 elements, very first reaction that we're going to study is action of oxygen. Again, now when we say reaction with oxygen, you know carbon belongs to group 14. Carbon C plus O can give you CO, sorry, C plus O2 can give you carbon monoxide and even carbon dioxide. So we say group 14 elements, when they react with oxygen, they can form monooxides, and in presence of excess oxygen, they can even form dioxides. So you can write down when we talk about group 14 elements, first we have over here carbon monoxide, SiO, GeO, SNO, and PbO. So when I say CO, carbon monoxide, you know it is neutral in nature. Similarly, SiO is also neutral in nature. The first two oxides, CO and SiO, are neutral in nature. GeO and SNO, they are acidic in nature, whereas the last one, PbO, will be amphoteric in nature. Moving ahead with the respect to dioxides, before that you can see SiO and GeO, they are mostly unstable and they're going to be formed at higher temperatures. Other than that, if you see, when we talk about PbO, PbO can be of two forms. If it is yellow in color, PbO is formed in two forms, yellow and red. If it's red in color, we call it as massicot. That ore is called as massicot, whereas the yellow one, we call it as litharge. Litharge. Talking about dioxides, you can see when we say dioxides, first of all, we have CO2, SiO2, GeO2, SnO2, and PbO2. So here, when I say CO2, you all know carbon monoxide is neutral in nature, but if I talk about SiO2, sorry, carbon monoxide is neutral in nature, but CO2, that is acidic in nature. So similarly, CO2, SiO2, GeO2, all these three, they are going to be acidic in nature. They are very weak acids. SnO2, we say it is amphoteric in nature, jabki PbO2, we say it's unstable. PbO2 unstable क्यों है? See, when I say PbO2, here the charge of O is -2. So the charge of Pb becomes what? +4. If you remember, Pb is not stable in +4 oxidation state, and therefore PbO2 becomes unstable. There are many more ores of oxides of what I can say Pb. Like one we have Pb3O4, which is called as red lead. It's a mixed oxide, and red lead as nothing but in your common terms we call it as sindoor. Next we have is, this is was red lead. Next is white lead. White because it contains carbonate. So you can see the formula is PbCO3. You can write as 2PbCO3 dot PbOH twice. So these are nothing but the ores, name of the ores of lead, or I can say oxides of lead. Pb3O4, that is called as red lead. That is nothing but your sindoor. White lead is lead carbonate, PbCO3 twice dot PbOH twice. So this was all about oxides of group 14 elements. Moving ahead, if you all have written this down, we can go ahead. So next reaction that we have is action of water. Now, when I say first, carbon does not react with water, but it reacts with steam. If you remember, हमने previous chapter hydrogen पढ़ा था, और hydrogen में जो हमने preparation, industrial method for preparation of hydrogen पढ़ा, we saw that carbon reacts with steam. You remember it was oxidation of hydrocarbons and carbon for preparation of hydrogen. So we say carbon reacts with steam, but not with water. Same if we talk about the element silicon, silicon also does not react with water. Whereas germanium will show no reaction. Tin reacts with water to form tin oxide. You can see tin will react with water and it will form a layer of tin oxide on its surface. Whereas the last element Pb will also show no reaction, but again it forms a thin oxide layer on its surface. If heated vigorously. So you can see only tin is the element that will react with water in case of group 14. Other elements do not react with water. Moving to next, that is action of halogens. You know, group 14 elements, they can show us two oxidation states, 2 and 4. So when you multiply E plus X2, if I take the charge of E as 2, the formula becomes EX2, that is dihalide. And if I take the charge of ES plus 4, I'll get the formula as EX4, tetrahalides. So group 14 elements can form dihalides as well as tetrahalides. So you can write down action of halogen, dihalides, tetrahalides. Next, you can see we say that group 14 elements, they have tendency to react with halogens and form dihalides as well as tetrahalides. We know the lower elements. Pb is stable in +2, means it will have more tendency to form dihalide, whereas the upper elements, they have tendency to form tetrahalides. So down the group, the stability for tetrahalides +4 decreases, whereas down the group, the stability for dihalides will increase, and that is because of inert pair effect. इसी में कुछ important point जो आपको note down करना है, like SnF4 and PbF4. If I say, now when I say SnF4 and PbF4, tin and lead, they both are metals. F is a non-metal. So metal and non-metal, when they react, they are going to form which bond? Ionic bond. The other compounds, they are all covalent, they're going to share their electrons, but here they are going to form ionic compounds because they are metal and non-metal reaction. Similarly, one more important, if you remember in the previous lecture we have discussed PbI4. PbI4 does not exist. Here also you can see PbF4 is existing, but PbI4 is not existing because if you remember, I told I is a bigger halogen atom. Because the size of the atom is very big, the length of the bond is also very big. The strength of the bond is very less, and you can break the bond easily. मतलब अगर आप बॉन्ड को इजीली ब्रेक कर सकते हो, जो एनर्जी रिलीज होगा बहुत कम होगा, एंड वो एनर्जी उतना इनफ नहीं होगा कि वो पीबी के s2 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को अनपेयर कर सके. तो यू कैन राइट ऑन PbI4 डज नॉट एग्जिस्ट बिकॉज PbI4 does not release enough energy to unpair the s2 electrons. This is the reason why PbI4 does not exist. So you can write down this. Next is hydrolysis of CCl4 and SiCl4. Again, it's a reaction. Before I go to this, you remember in case of group 14, when we studied the oxidation state, we had discussed at that time कि SiCl6 बन सकता है, सॉरी SiF6 बन सकता है, बट SiCl6 नहीं बनेगा. क्यों? क्योंकि वहां पे SI में मैंने बोला था कि इट हैज द टेंडेंसी टू हैव sp3d2 hybridization. Same over here when we talk about hydrolysis of CCl4, मतलब CCl4 plus water, there is no reaction. We say CCl4 does not react with water, but SiCl4 reacts with water. Why? So you can see carbon has an atomic number of 6, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन होता है 2s2 2p2 ग्राउंड स्टेट में. मैंने यहाँ एक्साइटेड स्टेट लिखा है जहाँ पे s का एक इलेक्ट्रॉन जाम करके p में चला गया. तो नाउ वी हैव हाउ मेनी अनपेयर्ड इलेक्ट्रॉन्स? 4 अनपेयर्ड इलेक्ट्रॉन्स. बट 2p में 2d, इफ रिमेंबर मैंने डिस्कस किया था 1s होता है 2s नहीं, 1s होता है 1p नहीं होता. वैसे 2s और 2p होता है, 2d नहीं होता है. सो 2d तो है नहीं और 3d यहाँ पे आएगा नहीं क्योंकि 3d बहुत दूर हो जाता है. सो वी से कार्बन के पास वेकेंट d ऑर्बिटल्स नहीं है. तो उसके पास वेकेंट d ऑर्बिटल्स नहीं है, मतलब उसका जो कोऑर्डिनेशन नंबर है वो कितना है? 4 का. मतलब ये जो कार्बन है इसमें क्लोरीन के 4 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स पहले से रहेंगे, 1 2 3 4. So it will be stable. Because it is stable, so when water tries to react with it, it is not going to react because it cannot expand its coordination number beyond 4. And therefore, this reaction is not possible. Okay? So CCl4 hydrolyze नहीं हो सकता. क्यों नहीं hydrolyze हो सकता? क्योंकि उसके पास vacant d orbitals नहीं है. Similarly, if you move ahead with SiCl4, we say SiCl4 reacts with water to form silicic acid. So you can see SiCl4 plus H2O. 4 chlorine atoms की जगह आ जाएगा 4 OH atoms. So you can SiOH4 plus HCl. That is called as silicic acid. Now, when we talk about silicon, the atomic number is 14, neon 3s2 3p2. एक्साइटेड स्टेट में एक इलेक्ट्रॉन s का जंप करके p में चला गया, तो यू हैव 3s 3p। अब 3s 3p में 3d है, मींस आई कैन से सिलिकॉन हैज वेकेंट d ऑर्बिटल। अब सिलिकॉन के पास 4 क्लोरीन एटम्स होंगे, 1 2 3 and 4. So this silicon tetrachloride SiCl4, when it reacts with water, now you know H2O में HOH, O has lone pair of electrons. Because O has lone pair of electrons, what we can see is silicon के पास vacant d orbital है, उसके पास खाली कटोरा है, तो वो और एक्सेप्ट कर सकता है। तो सिलिकॉन के पास वेकेंट डी ऑर्बिटल है, तो वो ऑक्सीजन के लोन पेयर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन एक्सेप्ट कर लेगा। तो यू कैन सी डी में वो अनपेयर इलेक्ट्रॉन जाएगा। अब जैसे ही SiCl4 ने इलेक्ट्रॉन, एक लोन पेयर इलेक्ट्रॉन एक्सेप्ट किया फ्रॉम वाटर मॉलिक्यूल, कहाँ एक्सेप्ट किया? वेकेंट डी ऑर्बिटल में। तो SiCl4 जैसे ही OH के साथ बॉन्ड बनेगा, यू कैन सी जैसे ही यहाँ से बॉन्ड बनना लगेगा O और H के साथ, ये वाला एक बॉन्ड वीक होता जाएगा, तो HCl यहाँ से बाहर आ गया एंड व्हाट यू गेट इज SiCl3OH। यू कैन सी एक Cl निकल गया। सेम वैसे ही अगर ये फिर से वाटर मॉलिक्यूल के साथ रिएक्ट करेगा, तो ऐसे ही एक एक लोन पेयर एक्सेप्ट करता जाएगा एंड इन दिस वे SiCl4 becomes SiOH4, that is silicic acid। तो ये रिएक्शन पॉसिबल है, क्यों? क्योंकि सिलिकॉन के पास वेकेंट डी ऑर्बिटल्स है, जबकि क्लोरीन के पास, सॉरी, कार्बन के पास वेकेंट डी ऑर्बिटल्स नहीं है, एंड देयरफॉर CCl4 कैन नॉट अंडरगो फर्दर reaction. So this is very important. Give reason. You have CCl4 reacts with water, but SiCl4 does not react with water. So you can write down this. That's how this reaction takes place. You can write down carbon does not have vacant d orbitals, whereas silicon has vacant d orbitals and therefore can expand its coordination number beyond 4. Moving ahead to the next property that is shown by group 14 elements, that is catenation. When I say catenation, you have studied in lower standards. It is the property of an atom to form bonds with itself as well as with others. And it can form straight chains, long chains, branch chains, or even I can say cyclic rings. So you can see catenation is the property of linking of atoms to form straight or branch chains like this. You can see linear or branch chains, or even to form rings of different sizes by forming covalent bond. This is called as catenation. So you can put the heading as catenation, which is only shown by group 14 elements. We say the order of catenation for group 14 elements depends upon their strength of the bond. We say as we move down, the element-element bond energy decreases. Why? As we move down, the size of the atom increases. एटम का साइज बढ़ता जा रहा है, मतलब बॉन्ड लेंथ बढ़ रहा है। अगर बॉन्ड लेंथ बढ़ रहा है मतलब उसका स्ट्रेंथ कम हो जाएगा, तो यू कैन सी बॉन्ड एनर्जी डिक्रीजेस। बॉन्ड एनर्जी अगर डिक्रीज हो रही है मतलब द टेंडेंसी टू फॉर्म बॉन्ड्स also decreases. So you can see as we move down, carbon has the highest bond enthalpy, whereas lead has the least. We say lead does not have the property of catenation. So we can see over here the tendency of catenation decreases from carbon to tin. It's better if you ignore lead. We normally say lead does not have any tendency to show the property of catenation, where germanium and tin, you can see they are almost same, 260 and 240. So you can write down the order of catenation. You can write down carbon has the maximum tendency to form or show catenation, and the tendency for catenation decreases down the group. Moving to the chemical properties of group 15 elements. When I say group 15, we are going to see the reaction with oxygen, water, and halogens again. First, when I say action of air, that is oxygen and nitrogen, you know group 15 elements, they are containing nitrogen. So they mostly do not react with nitrogen. So we are going to see the reaction over here with oxygen. Group 15 elements, if you remember, they have two different oxidation states, that is +3 and +5. Why I'm not taking -3? Because oxygen is already electronegative, second most electronegative, and therefore we'll take oxygen negative, and here the elements will become positive. So we'll take two oxidation states, one is +3 and +5. So E plus O2, if you take the charge of +3, you get the formula as E2O3, And if you take the charge as plus 5, it becomes E2O5. You can balance the reaction similarly. Normally, when we say nitrogen, nitrogen does not react with oxygen at normal temperature. You know, in the air, we have oxygen, we have nitrogen, but they do not react with each other. We say they are non-reacting gases. But yes, nitrogen and oxygen can react when the temperature is very high. When I say the temperature is very high, it should be up to 2000 Kelvin. You know, when there's thunder and lightning taking place in the atmosphere, at that time the temperature is very high. So at that time the reaction between nitrogen and oxygen can take place, and you can form NO. This NO can further react and even give you N2O5 or N2O3. We have different oxides of nitrogen. So here, when we talk about the other element, that is phosphorus, P4, when reacts with oxygen, it can form P2O3. But it will never exist as P2O3. It will always form a dimer, P2O3 ka double, P4O6. Similarly, it can form P2O5, phosphorus pentaoxide, and you can see phosphorus pentaoxide also exists as a dimer, P4O10. Nitrogen and phosphorus, they are non-metals. So therefore, just remember the oxides that they are going to form will be acidic in nature. Similarly, you can see if I talk about the other elements like arsenic and antimony, when they react with oxygen, they're going to form, you can see, corresponding oxide. Again, it's a dimer. Bismuth forms a simple oxide, Bi2O3. And you can see arsenic, again, being a metalloid, it will be amphoteric in nature. Whereas Bi2O3 being metallic, it will be a basic oxide. So in this group, if we talk about oxides, bismuth is going to form the most basic oxide. So you can write down group 15, reaction with oxygen and all this. You can write down N plus O2. That is N2 plus O2. The reaction takes place at 2000 Kelvin in presence of electric arc, means electric current के presence में reaction हो रहा है, you get is 2NO. Or you can write in this way, N plus O2 gives you N2O3 or N2O5. This is your reaction with nitrogen family. Next, moving ahead, reaction with water. Now, when I say reaction with water, group 14 elements, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, we say they do not react with water. And therefore, you know, phosphorus is the element that reacts vigorously with oxygen. If you keep it outside in the air, it reacts with oxygen and shows chemiluminescence. We'll study that in the allotropes of phosphorus. Because of that property of phosphorus, we need to store phosphorus in water. You remember when we talk about sodium, group 1 element, sodium is highly reactive with water, with oxygen. So prevent that, we store sodium and kerosene. Same way, phosphorus reacts vigorously with oxygen, and to prevent its reaction with oxygen, we store phosphorus in water. A very important point to note down. Next chemical property that we have is action of halogens. Now, when I say action of halogens, you know, group 15, they show you +3 as well as +5. So E plus X2 can be EX3, or E plus X2 can also be EX5. X means your halogen, that is fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. So in this, if you remember, we studied in the previous lecture that nitrogen cannot form NCl3. Sorry, nitrogen can form NCl3 but cannot form NF5, whereas phosphorus can form PCl5 and all. It means that nitrogen cannot directly show +5 oxidation state, but phosphorus can show you +5 oxidation state. When I say +5, it means sp3 dehybridization. So over here, phosphorus can show you +5 oxidation state because it has electronic configuration 3s2 3p3, which means it has vacant 3d orbitals. And because it has vacant 3d orbitals, it can expand its octet. And therefore, phosphorus can show you pentavalency. But if we talk about nitrogen, we saw that nitrogen has electronic configuration 2s2 2p3. 2s and 2p में 2d नहीं होता है. It does not have vacant d orbitals. Because it does not have vacant d orbitals, there is no excitation of electrons, and therefore nitrogen does not show pentavalency. So this is what we have studied already in the previous lecture. So you can have a question of give reason from this. Moving to the next we have is MCQs. Let's see what we all have studied. The very first question we have, which of the following oxides is amphoteric in nature? Now you can see CaO. First of all, it was in group 1. It's a metal, so we can say it is a what? I can say it's basic in nature. CO2, what is it? It is weakly acidic. If you remember, we studied CO2, SiO2 and GeO2. All these three oxides were weakly acidic. So even this is weakly acidic. What is left is SnO2. Very important. यहाँ पे एक चीज याद रखें, normally we assume SiO2 to be acidic in nature, but sometimes silica is also termed as amphoteric. Why do we call silica sometimes as amphoteric? Sorry, because silica acidic है, तो we say acids क्या react नहीं करेगा, right? And you know silica is mostly used for making glass. तो हम वो ग्लास बनाने के लिए क्यों यूज करते हैं? क्योंकि सिलिका ना ही हाइड्रोजन के साथ रिएक्ट करता है, ना ही मेटल्स के साथ रिएक्ट करता है, ना ही मोस्ट ऑफ द नॉन मेटल के साथ रिएक्ट नहीं करता, इसलिए सिलिका ग्लास बनाने के लिए यूज होता है। इसके हम लैब में ग्लासवेयर यूज करते हैं बिकॉज वी नो ग्लास विल नॉट रिएक्ट. सिलिका डज नॉट रिएक्ट विद एसिड्स एक्सेप्ट HF. अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट, सिलिका HF के साथ रिएक्ट करके SiF4 बना लेता है. बाकी किसी भी एसिड HCl, H2SO4, HNO3 उनके साथ रिएक्ट नहीं करेगा, बट सिलिका HF के साथ रिएक्ट करके SiF4 बना लेता है. सो देयरफॉर समटाइम्स वी कैन रेफर सिलिका एज एम्फोटेरिक आल्सो, बट यू कैन सी बाकी ऑप्शंस देखने हैं एंड फिर उस हिसाब से आपको डिसाइड करना है. वी नो SnO2 इज ऑलरेडी एम्फोटेरिक, so that is the correct option over here. You can write down this question and this point also you can note down. Silica is acidic, but sometimes we say it can be amphoteric because it does not react with acid. Being an acid, it does not react with acid, but it reacts with HF. So अगर ऑप्शन में कोई और एम्फोटेरिक नहीं है तो आप SiO2 को एम्फोटेरिक टिक कर सकते हो, बट यहाँ पे उससे बेटर एम्फोटेरिक था तो इसलिए हमने सिलिका को टिक नहीं किया. Moving to another question. The most stable oxidation states of nitrogen are. हमें पता है नाइट्रोजन -3 और +3 दिखाएगा. नाइट्रोजन +5 दिखा सकता है क्या? 0 तो ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट पॉसिबल नहीं है नाइट्रोजन का. +5 दिखा सकता है क्या? नहीं. लेट्स सी. नो, इफ आई टॉक अबाउट नाइट्रिक एसिड HNO3, you know the charge of oxygen is -2, HNO3, the charge of O is -2, H is +1, so N will be X. This is what you have done in redox. If you solve, 3 2s are -6, goes there, +6, 6 -1, +5. I can see nitrogen is showing me +5 oxidation state. कैसे? HNO3 का स्ट्रक्चर ऐसा होता है, HONO. यू कैन सी नाइट्रोजन यहाँ कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन शेयर कर रहा है? 1 2 3 4. पॉसिबल है? नहीं. Here nitrogen is forming one of the covalent bond, sorry, coordinate bond. मतलब नाइट्रोजन ने यहाँ पे अपने लोन पेयर भी शेयर किए. So you can say it can be like this. Here nitrogen has given all the or shared its electron pair. So I can say it is plus minus. So ये जो है यहाँ पे +5 क्यों आता है? क्योंकि उसने अपने 3 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स यूज किए फॉर कोवेलेंट बॉन्डिंग एंड इट हैज शेयर्ड इट्स लोन पेयर ऑल्सो. तो अगर लोन पेयर भी शेयर किया तो ऑटोमेटिकली 3 और 5. तो यस, नाइट्रोजन कैन शो यू +5, बट नाइट्रोजन NCl5 करके कंपाउंड नहीं बना सकता. क्यों? क्योंकि यहाँ पे नाइट्रोजन एक्साइटेड स्टेट में नहीं जा रहा है. यहाँ पे भी नाइट्रोजन एक्साइटेड स्टेट में नहीं जा रहा, बट यहाँ पे वो अपना लोन पेयर शेयर कर रहा है. So this is where we can say nitrogen can show you oxidation states like -3, +3 and +5. Yes, so that is the correct answer. Second, which of the following exhibits a layered structure? ये मैंने डिस्कस किया. फॉस्फरस टेट्राहेड्रल होता है, हम डिस्कस करेंगे वो. नाइट्रोजन तो 2 मॉलिक्यूल लेयर्ड नहीं होगा. आर्सेनिक हाइड्राइड वी हैव नॉट स्टडीड एनीथिंग अबाउट इट, बट बोरॉन नाइट्राइड हमने देखा इट हैज layered structure, or we also call it inorganic graphite. So yes, that's the correct answer. Next question, which is the most basic oxide? Basic मतलब याद रखना metallic होना चाहिए, non metal acidic रहेगा. So Bi2O3, Al2O3, SeO2, Sb2O3. ना Al2O3 मुझे पता है एम्फोटेरिक होता है. सेलेनियम हमने थोड़ी देर पहले देखा, SiGe. सेलेनियम तो हमने अभी तक पढ़ा ही नहीं है. केमिस्ट्री सॉर गिव्स सन की प्रॉब्लम नहीं, सेलेनियम अपने ग्रुप में अभी तक आया नहीं है, तो यू हैव नो आइडिया. एंटीमनी एम्फोटेरिक है, मैंने बोला था एंटीमनी और आर्सेनिक एम्फोटेरिक है. Bi2O3, you know it's a metal. Group 15 में एक ही element metal था and it was the most basic oxide in that. So yes, that is the correct answer. The stability of dihalides group 14 increases in the sequence of. Group 14 में dihalide मतलब +2, मतलब lower elements have more tendency to form +2, मतलब Pb. So you can see if you have the, you can see हम लोग अगर अरेंज करेंगे तो भी केमिस्ट्री सर गिव्स सन की प्रॉब्लम. तो सर गिव्स सन की प्रॉब्लम फर्स्ट नहीं है, सेकंड भी नहीं है, सर गिव्स थर्ड भी नहीं है, फोर्थ है केमिस्ट्री सर गिव्स सन की प्रॉब्लम. यू कैन सी डाउन द ग्रुप इट इज इंक्रीजिंग. So this was all with respect to your chemical properties of group 13, 14 and 15 elements. In the next lecture, we are going to study about allotropy. Till then, have a nice day. Bye.